Sinach's heartfelt declaration was a message for every soul that has ever carried too much, not just a personal revelation. She offered her time, voice, and emotions to uplift others with songs of healing and faith for many years. However, she was subtly reminding herself behind the music that even God's servants must take breaks. At 53, she at last paid attention to the whisper of her soul rather than the cacophony of the outside world. Her choice to withdraw was a wise one rather than an indication of weakness. Sinach opted for tranquility in a world that promotes perpetual action. She emphasized to everyone that strength is about knowing when to give up and allow God take charge, not about how long you can keep going. Fans were shocked by her declaration because it exposed a reality that we all overlook. Even those who appear unwavering occasionally need to take a deep breath, think things through, and rejuvenate. And that honesty has beauty. Sinach demonstrated to us that, even during the calm times, faith is demonstrated by our level of trust rather than our actions. She leaves us with a lesson that goes beyond music as she retreats to recover. Life is a journey of balance, grace, and surrender rather than a race of never-ending activity. We allow God to restore what we have lost when we take a moment to relax. Even though Sinach's voice remains quiet for a moment, her message is still clear. Sometimes taking a step back doesn't mean you're done, but rather that you're ready to start over. Sinach's voice has been filling homes, churches, and stadiums all around the world for years. Millions of people have been moved by her songs of faith, hope, and miracles. However, something was different on this particular day. Instead of holding a microphone to sing in front of her audience, she was holding back her emotions. I never thought I'd have to say this, but sometimes God leads you down a road you never planned to walk, she said in a whisper as the audience became silent. This isn't goodbye, she said, her voice cracking a little. It's time to pay attention. Fans stared in shock. This was the same Sinach who was always beaming, resilient, and radiant. However, she appeared frail and human on this particular day. There was only the truth, no staged moment, no performance. It felt like a sacred moment. Everyone could sense that she was speaking from the heart, even though no one knew what she was going to reveal. Setting the scene, her path and present situation. Sinach's path has always been one of perseverance and faith. She began her singing career in her church choir after being born and reared in Nigeria. She had no idea that her music would eventually be heard all over the world. For millions of people, songs like Waymaker, I Know Who I Am, and The Name of Jesus became anthems of hope. She was more than just a vocalist. She was a beacon of hope throughout difficult times. However, the cost of that calling went unnoticed by the public. Every theatrical performance was accompanied by lengthy trips, restless nights, and unceasing demands. The expectations increased along with her impact. Everyone wanted a piece of her, whether it was through partnerships, religious programs, performances, or interviews. She gave it her all since she was a servant through music. But eventually, people started to notice that she was missing. Her schedule lightened, her grin became more contemplative, and her social media activity decreased. Fans began to question whether something was amiss. In actuality, there was something more profound than anyone could have imagined. The unspoken battle. At last, Sinach made the decision to reveal what had been going on behind closed doors. She had been bearing the weight of fatigue, pressure, and quiet suffering for years, but no one could see it. Her body begged for rest, and her spirit begged for silence as she led thousands of people in worship beneath the spotlight night after night. I kept telling myself, "You're fine, Sinach," she revealed. "You're powerful. People are depending on you." However, I wasn't okay. I was wary of acting as though I had unending strength, not of God. Many of the audience members were crying as they listened. They sensed that she was speaking honestly. Sinach clarified that she had begun to feel cut off from the happiness she had previously found in her music. The psalms that used to calm her started to feel like chores. She came to the realization that she had little left for herself because she was giving so much to everyone else. She remarked, "I love what I do, but somewhere along the way, I forgot how to rest. I lost the ability to simply remain motionless." The moment everything changed. The pivotal moment was unanticipated. Sinach felt dizzy one evening during rehearsal and had to take a seat. She initially dismissed it as exhaustion. However, the condition worsened during the following few days. She was advised, take time off right away after seeing her doctor because her body was under a lot of stress. She was shaken by that moment. Her spirit was at stake, not simply her bodily well-being. She acknowledged that it had been a while since she had paid attention to her body or spirit. "Sometimes God has to let you slow down before you fall down," she murmured. "Even when we're not, He can tell when we're running low on resources." That health scare turned into a wake-up call from God. She had to stop for the first time in decades. No microphones, no timetables. Just quiet. She started to hear herself once more in that quiet. The heartfelt declaration. Sinach broke the unexpected news, her eyes welling with tears. "I've decided to take an indefinite break from touring and public performances after much prayer and reflection," she said. "This isn't because I've lost faith, rather, it's because I need to find solace in it once more." The audience gave a quiet gasp. Many fans started crying, and some even put their hands together in what appeared to be a prayer. With a gentle grin, Sinach wiped away her tears. "This isn't farewell," she went on. "I'm just taking a season off to heal, pray, and re-establish a connection with the one who initially gave me this voice." She spoke with a serenity that comes only from giving up. "God is reminding me that I am His daughter before I am His servant, even if I have dedicated my life to ministry. I'm listening to Him for the first time in my life when He asks me to rest." The only sounds in the hall were gentle applause and quiet sniffles. Everyone understood that this was an instance of obedience rather than loss. Faith, introspection, and appreciation. Sinach talked more about her choice in the days that followed. She described how her greatest act of faith was rest, which used to feel like weakness. "I thought that serving God meant never stopping moving for a very long time," she remarked. "Even Jesus, however, rested. Rest is about trusting, not about giving up." She clarified that she intended to prioritize her family, her health, and her peaceful connection with God while she was away. She talked about how little things like walks in the morning, leisurely meditation, and laughter at the dinner table brought her joy once more. "I'm not hurrying through life for the first time in years," she grinned. "In fact, I'm living it." Sinach sent her sincere appreciation to her supporters and fellow Christians. She declared, "You've shown me love I don't deserve. I appreciate you letting me take a step back without passing judgment. I swear that this vacation will make me stronger when I return, not for praise, but for a reason." Fans and other artists' reactions. The response to her announcement was extraordinary. Messages of compassion, love, and prayer inundated social media. Fans from all over the world shared video clips of her songs along with sincere comments about how her music had improved their lives. Her bravery in choosing faith over popularity was praised by other gospel musicians who stood in solidarity. Sinach just reminded us that ministry isn't a race, it's a calling, one vocalist wrote. And sometimes pausing is the most effective thing you can do. Her choice spurred discussions about rest, spiritual rejuvenation, and mental wellness throughout the Christian world. People started to realize that even those who motivate millions of people need time to rest and recover. Sinach's integrity enhanced her legacy rather than damaged her reputation. Reflections and lessons. As she thought back on her journey, Sinach revealed one important lesson she learned. If your own cup is empty, you cannot pour into others. She clarified that rest is preparation rather than sloth. She stated, "You're not moving away from purpose when you rest, rather, you're moving closer to it." She urged people to look for themselves, particularly those in leadership or ministry. She cautioned, "Don't wait for your body or spirit to break before you pause. Pay attention to the soft voice telling you that it's time to take a breath." Her remarks evolved into a movement of faith-based self-care rather than just an announcement. Sinach reminded everyone that sometimes being obedient involves taking a step back rather than giving up. Sinach's voice grew softer as she wrapped up her moving speech. She remarked, "At 53, I've discovered that true strength isn't about persevering through everything. It's about knowing when to give up and putting your faith in God." Despite her tears, she grinned. "This is a pause for grace, not an end." She concluded by expressing her gratitude to everyone for supporting her during every season. "What remains is faith, pure, simple, and strong," she remarked when the music fades and the crowd goes home. "And I'm rediscovering my faith during this calm time." With tears in their eyes, the audience stood up and cheered. It was a peaceful moment rather,